Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's Tuesday Leadership Tip. What I'd like to do this week is pick up a little bit from last week's tip where I talked about having a team meeting, doing recognition versus reprimands versus redirects. And I had one of you reach out to me, and thank you for that, by the way, with a question and not quite understanding one part of that video that I want to clarify so everybody else understands too. What she asked was, calling people out in the meeting. And when I said, mention so-and-so, all the names, I did not mean to say that in a way that you're calling them out with an issue that needed to be fixed, but a commitment. So if you say to them and you call out everybody's name, say, can I have your commitment on this? Can I make sure that you can come to me to strategize, to get assistance, to get help? That's that we part. That's the redirect. Obviously, if you're needing somebody to fix an issue, that's done in private. Praise in public, critique in private. And also, I'm a big believer in trying to handle things on a one-on-one basis for the reasons I mentioned in my last video. The scary thing about doing an all-employee meeting, even when you're trying to address something and get commitment, is the people that really need to hear it, they're not listening. And the people who don't need to hear it get frustrated thinking it's a beat-up session. So when you can, try to handle those situations one-on-one. But I understand your time's limited. You're managing a lot of people. It can be tough sometimes to sit there and meet over and over again with all sorts of individuals on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So when you have a meeting where you're addressing something, focus on the positives. Focus on, hey, this person's doing really well here. Maybe have them speak up, share their tips, share their suggestions. And then, hey, everybody, let me call you all out. Do you recognize you can come to see me and that we're going to all commit to this together? So that's my clarification there. And then also, one thing I want to add, whenever you have a sit-down meeting with an employee, and I've said this before, but there is a very important piece of the puzzle that comes after that sit-down meeting. And I was talking with a service manager about this today. You know that if that meeting goes well, you're going to have their performance go up, and they know that it's on the radar. We got to do better here. You got their commitment. So obviously you're going to see a spike up. But as you well know, a lot of times things drift back down, right? And this is a crucial window that you have when things are up here after the meeting to address it, to follow up with them, to say, hey, I noticed you're doing a really good job. Thank you for taking our conversation so seriously. It lets them know, I'm still watching. This is still important, but you're doing it in a positive way, right? The worst thing that can happen is if you let things go to where they slide back down and you don't say anything and recognize them when it's going well, and then you go back to them and you say, come on now, we talked about this. Guess what? You're the bad guy. Because in their head, they're thinking, oh, sure, I do this perfect time and again. And the one time I screw up and they have in their head the reasons why, that's when you notice. That's when you say something. Never once when I was doing it great. The one time I slip up, now you're on my case. And they're not even listening to you. So the recognition and catching them doing it right serves two purposes. The first purpose, it lets them know you're still watching, you're still paying attention, it's still important, and you recognize them for doing a good job. And number two, it builds a buffer so that if you do have to readdress it, hey, they can't hold you accountable for saying you never noticed it when it was going well. In any case, hope that helps clarify some things. But keep reaching out to me if you have questions like this. I love having those conversations afterwards from these videos. So have a good week, and thank you very much for listening.